Hello everyone, and welcome to the 6th video in the Poet Tree series. As I record this video, which is the final one for this series, I'm just showing you a different perspective on my sister-in-law's property on a day when the sky's a lovely blue. The autumn colors are so glorious. And as this video is being recorded on Thanksgiving weekend, I thought I would start with a short poem by B.Y. Williams, who wrote, "Take what God gives, O heart of mine, and build your house of happiness. Perchance some have been given more, but many have been given less. The treasure lying at thy feet, whose value you but faintly guess, another builder looking on would barter heaven to possess." For the past 6 years, the treasure lying at my feet has been this extraordinarily beautiful property that belongs to my sister-in-law, Ruth Weber. And this has been her dream property for over 35 years. And before she came here, it was the dream property of other owners as well. It was interesting to me to learn that in 1873, this property had been part of a larger parcel of land, a 100-acre parcel, that was a patent from the Crown to a man named John Moore. And in 1898, that 100 acres was divided, and 25 acres of it was purchased by a man named Thomas Mina. And it was Thomas Mina who built the original structure on this property, a house and a small barn. And the house has been renovated extensively many times over the years, but the original part of it still remains. And in 1934, the property changed hands again, and it came to the family of a man named Edward Pratt. And Edward Pratt was certainly a dreamer and a visionary, and he implemented many changes on this property. For example, he built a swimming pool here by damming up one of the streams. And it was an interesting concept because he could raise or lower the level of the water in the pool just by removing or adding some logs to the dam. Apparently, many young people learned to swim here on this property, and in the wintertime, the pond became a skating rink. He also diverted the water from several springs into different streams around the property, which had the effect of creating almost an island here, totally surrounded by water. My sister-in-law keeps 2 acres, really beautifully groomed. She works her heart out to keep this so immaculate. And the rest of the property is just left as nature intended, which is something I really love. Just going down here to take a different walk today. And we're going to pass by what seems to me like a little memorial to Edward Pratt and all his innovative ideas. Apparently, at one time, Mr. Pratt decided he was going to build a sawmill. So the remnants of that remain here like a silent testimony to someone who had real dreams and real visions, and made his dreams come true. On this path, there are some very interesting root systems. The name for this series, the Poet Tree Series, was chosen precisely because there are so many wonderful trees on this property. And there are so many amazing trees throughout the world. As many of you might know, there's even a way of analyzing our personalities that uses a tree as a symbol for some of our characteristics. So, for example, if you were a tree, might you be compared to a sugar maple, always nurturing? Or would you maybe be strong and dominant, more like a Douglas fir? Or have an artistic kind of flexibility, like a weeping willow? There's lots to be found on the internet about that concept if it intrigues you. I have discovered really that just as our lives evolve and change over time, so too our personalities can undergo some change. For example, I think for a lot of my life, I was like a sugar maple. But I find in more recent years that I am drawn more to a coastal palm tree. Apparently those trees really resonate with people who are enlivened and stimulated and inspired by the sight of a coastline and a body of water. A poet, African-American poet named Langston Hughes, wrote, "Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams go, life is a barren field frozen with snow." Oh, I see I have a little companion. That's Big Gray. I think also of a poem that was sent to me by an excellent friend of mine, Gord Eddy. We've been friends for over 50 years. And in a card one time, he sent these thoughts. "I wish for you a dream to hold, like a small bird in its nest, not able yet to fly, but with a glory in its breast. And then someday I wish you'll let that dream go out a-winging, till it returns to bring your heart the beauty of its singing." And I think that's what I would wish for each of you on this weekend, that you each have a dream and that you can hold fast to your dreams. In a recent episode of Dancing with the Stars, a couple chose the song A dream is a wish your heart makes, from Cinderella, the Disney production. And I wonder how many of us think back sometimes to our childhood wishes and dreams, and whether they have been materialized. I think in my own life, I remember as a young person articulating 3 dreams. I wanted to have a home, I wanted to have a family, and I wanted to be a writer. So in 1996, I realized the first dream, to have a home. Although I've always appreciated where I lived, in 1996 I actually purchased a home in the Beaver Valley, and that was truly the house of my dreams. As we pass by this area, I just want to show you a system here that is almost like a little monster, and we think of it as a protector, like guarding the moat around the castle. Since Ruth has been on this property for so long, some of her lifelong friends have spent a great deal of time here, and one of her dear friends, Mary Dale Scales, particularly likes this connection of roots here because it reminds her of the interconnectedness of all of us. Thank you for that image, Mary Dell. My second childhood dream, to have a family, didn't really happen in a traditional sense. That elusive soulmate didn't quite materialize. But when I think of it in light of the way Netflix categorizes its films, I guess you could think of lucky in life, a bit unlucky in love, although I do take full responsibility for some questionable choices that took me in different directions in that area. I think very often looking back, there would be periods of a romantic comedy, some drama, few tragedies, but very few experiences that could classify in the horror genre. And sometimes it was a mix of everything. But there were some spectacular episodes along the way. And I think that most poets probably are incurably romantic. So I haven't given up yet on the possibility that that one true love may still present itself. I hope so. But the idea of children within a family, although it didn't come to me in a traditional sense, I have been so blessed to have relationships with many children, either through my family or teaching, or the children of my friends. And I was particularly encouraged by something written by Pauline Johnson, our wonderful early Canadian poet. And she said that poems are the children of our imagination. And when you think of it that way, there is no biological clock that interferes, that often it's in our maturity and through our life experiences that writing can take on an even richer dimension. And if poems are the children of one's imagination, then you can understand how a poet appreciates the kindness others show toward their children, just as parents are so pleased when others are kind to them. And I must say that I am very, very happy and grateful for the kindness you've shown to me throughout my video presentations. Your comments mean a great deal to me. And when you do choose to share them, it's another level of appreciation, because it's like you are sending my children out into the world to hopefully make their mark and maybe bring a little more beauty. That would be my hope. I've been very fortunate to have reconnected with my sister-in-law about 6 years ago, whenever I had to give up one dream to pursue another. It was becoming obvious to me when I left teaching that it would be difficult to continue to have my own home and also focus more exclusively on my true passion and identity, which is writing, and specifically poetry. So that transition happened at a time when Ruth was finding herself needing some assistance on this property. Her beloved husband Elwood had passed away, and together they had worked as a real team here to create such a lovely oasis. So she invited me to come and help her. And I have been here ever since, but still do feel in a state of transition, because just as our personalities can change over time, so too do our dreams. And one of my future dreams is just to be able every morning to walk a beach at sunrise and to watch the sunset. And it is precisely because of these beautiful trees that I can't fulfill that particular dream here. But while I am here, I am deeply grateful to Ruth for sharing her paradise with me. And I wrote a poem for her to that end, and I'd like to share it with you as a Thanksgiving offering. It's called Dreamscape. Thank you, my friend, for your dreams to hold, until I find again a dream of my own. I saw my dreams as they floated free, like heavenly mist from a soul released. In a whispered promise they dropped a seed, far from my vision, but not my need. So now I wait for that seed to sprout, a dream that time will turn inside out. A dream as wide as a prairie sky, and as clear as the lakes where herons fly. A dream to be honored like indigenous rights that speak for justice and truth and light. A dream as compelling as freedom found by slaves who traveled the underground. A dream with the grit of a pioneer's toil that plowed the fields and tilled the soil. A dream as expansive as an open hand that welcomes immigrants to a better land. A dream as fresh as a waterfall spray that has plunged into darkness unafraid. A dream as resilient as a robin in snow, and as steadfast as family when troubles unfold. A dream as inspired as an artist's brush that has burst into color with autumn's touch. To previous dreamers who've shown the way, I salute your example and humbly pray that my eyes will rise from our troubled ground to a larger vision through insight I've found, that without a dream our spirits sleep, and dream of a dream for our hearts to keep. Until I await, your dreams I'll hold, to share one day with a dream of my own. And our Breathe poem for today, I invite you to take some deep breaths and reflect on your own dreams and your own sources of gratitude. It's written by John James Moment, who was born in 1875, and it's called The Best Treasure. There are veins in the hills where jewels hide, and gold lies buried deep. There are harbor towns where the great ships ride, and fame and fortune sleep. But land and sea, though we tireless rove, and follow each trail to the end, whatever the wealth of our treasure trove, the best we shall find is a friend. And I have a little friend sitting here beside me who keeps nudging my arm for attention. I'll leave you today with a verse from the Bible that I think is kind of relevant in our times. It says, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Thank you, Facebook friends, for your support and your interest. I wish you a very happy Thanksgiving weekend. And although we're in a time of great restriction and confinement, let's cling to all those things that are good and not be sucked in to any negativity. I'm thinking that because of my confinement this winter, when I won't get to that beach I love, there may be new series that arise, and if so, I hope you'll find them interesting. And in the meantime, I just wish you well. I wish you everything your heart desires. Bye for now.